You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. Please, Chargers, win this game. Fingers crossed. All right. We don't have any new callers today. I don't believe. I'm scrolling quite a bit here. We got a lot of calls. We got a lot of work to do, actually, now that I think about it. So let's get hurrying up here because I want to try to get caught up before the game. Kyle from Madison, go.
Ryan, Kyle from Madison, good morning. It is the first morning where Micah Parsons is a Packer.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get some other things off my chest here, because I'm learning a lot from people, apparently, since the trade, okay?
Yep.
First thing I've learned, apparently, is that this is the Herschel Walker trade. All right.
Oh, look, okay.
Man, first of all, we don't have 12 rounds in the draft anymore, so I don't know how you can do comparison. But I'm just, at a glance, looking at that trade, you have a bad Minnesota team trading 3 first-round picks that end up being very high. 4 players? There's like 15 things that they're trading for Herschel Walker here, a running back, to a bad team. It is not even close to the freaking Herschel Walker trade, no matter what happens. Then I'm hearing it's the Khalil Mack trade. Okay, it's definitely closer to the Khalil Mack trade.
Sure.
But the Bears weren't a good team. Okay? And then I'm hearing the Khalil Mack trade was a failure. No, it wasn't.
Well, that's why I don't even mind that comparison. Khalil Mack transformed that team into a terrifying team that should have won a Super Bowl if not for an incompetent quarterback and a double doinking kicker. I've said that a few times now, but that's the reality. Again, you run that playoff series back again. I don't know how many times they win the Super Bowl out of 10, but it's not 0. And that's kind of saying a lot because there's, more than 10 teams. But it just felt like they were a team that was very much destined to go win that. They were just, that defense was absurd. So why would I be upset about it? Again, this is the whole thing where we judge things by results. Well, you didn't win a Super Bowl, so that was bad. It wasn't bad. All the other crap around it was bad. The Trubisky pick was bad. There's a lot of things that were bad. It sure as hell was not Khalil Mack. And yeah, the Herschel Walker thing, 5 players and 8 draft picks. It ended up being 18 assets total that Dallas got for Herschel Walker. So that's first of all. Beyond that, we're talking about a running back, which I've noticed. You remember when I brought up that email that I got? How 3 of the examples were running backs? First of all, how stupid to trade that much for a running back. I know it was 1989. It was a different era. But give me a frickin' break. Running backs have a shorter lifespan, significantly less valuable. Herschel Walker was 27 with significant tread on his tires, right? So he's a beat-up running back, kind of like probably on the way down by the time you're 27. We got a pass rusher that just turned 26. Very different situation. And the biggest missing piece between this and the Herschel Walker trade, although it'll never be the Herschel Walker trade, again, because of the compensation, but the entire missing piece is he'd have to come here and be terrible, right? So you can't really call it that, and even if he did, you still probably couldn't call it that.
Do we not remember what happened? The Bears instantly had one of the best defenses in the league. That was a championship defense.
Yes.
The first game of the year, they destroyed our season. They folded Rodgers in half. Khalil Mack did. Broke his damn knee. Rodgers came back in one of the most amazing comebacks of his career, but the season was effectively ended.
Yeah.
The Bears had a championship defense that year and the next year. The thing that held them back was not Khalil Mack. It was Trubisky and the fact that they didn't take Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
All right? I mean, what?
Yeah, could you imagine if they had drafted Patrick Mahomes? Not only is that like an automatic guaranteed Super Bowl, but probably numerous Super Bowls in Chicago. I mean, that goes without... People say that anyways with Mahomes, but just, really think about that. It's not just Mahomes. It's the fact that they were actually able to put together a, once-a-decade type of defense.
What are we talking about? This is night and day. difference to the team that this person is going to. I'm sorry. It absolutely is. Then the other thing I'm hearing is, well, he's a liability in the run game. He can't stop the run.
Not true.
Only way you can improve your team is by trading Micah Parsons, apparently. What are we talking about? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, whether he is or isn't a liability in the run game, there's a reason the pass rushers make 20 times what run stuffers do.
Exactly.
Because there are ways.
I was going to say, that would be like saying, we traded for Puka Nacua, and it's like, wow, you idiot. Puka's not even a really good blocker in the run game, so you're an idiot. He probably is. But do you understand how stupid that sounds? I'm not saying it's a bad thing for a wide receiver to be able to block. But for you to sit here and pretend that actually moves the needle, as if before this trade anybody said, yeah, Parsons is okay. I mean, he can get the quarterback, but he's not really a run defender, so he's just kind of mid in my book. 0 people said that. It's only after he got traded, and everybody from Dallas fans to Bears fans to Vikings fans to Lions fans, and that's pretty much the whole list, wants to pretend that this is now some major liability. Which is also why they're playing up Kenny Clark like, oh, I mean, that's a big loss there. No, it's not. It's not. I'm so sorry to tell you, it's not. If you don't believe me, go look at the Dallas game. They couldn't stop the run. What happened? Oh, what happened?
Is to stop the run. You can't freaking manufacture a 4-man pass rush unless you have awesome individual pass rushers. It's just a fact of life in the NFL. It's just a fact of life. So, I mean, dude, the Colts right now, like I said yesterday, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but you can't these are ridiculous arguments.
Right.
Now, look, I don't love the fact that we get another guy in here that's got a podcast. What
Sure.
I do know is this. You get him out of a culture in Dallas that is all about, look at me, look at me, look at me, and it starts with the owner, and you get him to a place in Green Bay that's more about the G. You know what I mean? And I just think there's going to be a sea change in what he experiences as a pro as far as a teammate kind of guy. So I think he could be a Hall of Famer in Green Bay. Let's go, Pack.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's pending some kind of a big drop-off or injury issue or something. He's a locked-in Hall of Famer. I mean, again, I don't want to hype this thing up too much necessarily, but, I mean, there are very few people that have ever played in Green Bay that are this caliber of player. We've been super blessed to have some of the quarterbacks we've had. Legendary. Reggie, legendary, right? We've had some elite players. It would be silly to say that these guys are not in the same conversation. 30 seconds left, and this frickin' jag-off is going to drive them down there and get points. I hate the Chiefs. I hate that it always works all the time. It's still just 3-13, but screw you, dude. They haven't been able to do anything on offense. You got to drive all the way down the field. There's 30 seconds left. Okay, it's done. Screw it. And what happens? This guy burns right past their corner. Perfect pass. I hate you so much. It's not a Swift thing, by the way. I've hated the Chiefs long before that. It's a they don't stop winning the Super Bowl thing, and I'm tired of them. The Swift thing just kind of, it's just, it's not really a straw that broke the camel's back at all. The back has been broken. It's just cherry on top of the cake, I guess you could say. That should have been picked. How many dropped interceptions does Pat Mahomes have? And this guy's going to pound his chest like you did something great. You jag off. I'm sorry. Drew, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan, it's Drew from Green Bay, and we got Micah Parsons. I'm pretty excited because obviously we didn't give away the farm. 2 first-round picks, which are projected to be, late 20s or even 30s.
Ideally 30s.
Over the next 2 years. And remember, one of them's a future pick, in 2027. So we're kind of like taking our future capital and spending that now. So that's got more value for us now. But even if you...
And again, he's a young player that's going to be here probably for the next 6-7 years. I really struggle with, part of the argument I have against these guys that are 29, 30 years old or whatever is you give up the draft capital, and in 2 years, in 3 years, we don't have the player or that draft pick. In other words, whoever that player would have been. So there is sort of that win. That, by the way, Kyle, that's the other argument that drives me nuts. Well, you got to win now. Got to win now. No, I don't. I can win now. I can win next year. I can win the year after that, the year after that, the year after that, or even the year after that. If I win a Super Bowl with Micah Parsons on the team, then I just won a Super Bowl with Micah Parsons on the team. So screw you. Well, if you didn't do it in 2027, so it doesn't count. You did it in 2029. Okay, stupid. Okay.
To combine the value of both of them together as if they were in the draft this coming year, that would still only be like the 9th overall pick value, depending on where we land. I was looking at Draft Tech's trade value chart, and they had us at 27, picking 27th. And yeah, if you add two 27ths together, you get about the number 9 overall pick. And you think, like, to try to land someone like Micah Parsons at the end of the first round, even if you get 2 of them, good luck. And I just wanted to point out too, we have one of the fastest, probably the fastest front 7 in the NFL.
Oh.
Micah Parsons ran a 4.340, and Gary
Insane.
ran a 4.540, if I remember right. Cooper ran a 4.540. Quay Walker ran a 4.540. I mean, we are absolutely loaded with speed.
Yes.
So I just found that very interesting, and teams are going to have fun dealing with us. So that's all I have to say. So, and, you know, obviously we gave away Kenny Clark too. One thing I want to say about that, you know, for us, we're getting rid of the big contract and all that to make it work. But for Dallas, I think he has more value because they're only taking the non-guaranteed money and we're keeping the guaranteed money. So he's really not being overpaid for them. So
Yeah.
I think that's part of why it worked. Why I got the trade done, but Hack 2 first and Kenny Clark, yes, please. All right, have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, look, the only thing that matters is can he continue to play at this level? That's it. If he does it, nobody cares about the compensation. If he doesn't, then yeah, obviously that sucks. That's the risk of any kind of a trade. But again, looking at a process thing, are there age concerns? Are there injury concerns? There's none of that. So, I mean, if you're just going to arbitrarily say, "Oh boy, what if something bad happens?" Then just don't ever do anything, I guess. There's nothing to dissuade you from doing this. Period. And if a fluke happens, and you just have to be okay with that. Things happen.
Daddy!
No.
Thanks again. Just had to make sure that when I got up today, that everything was true and real.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, man, I don't care. I don't care if he breaks his leg on the first second that he gets off the plane.
Okay.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah,
but at the same
that's not
time,
great.
like, I love it, man. McKinney, Jacobs, now this. Like, anybody that has anything to say that we don't try to do, I mean, it's just absolute nonsense. Golly, what a cool time to be a fan. May not amount to anything, but man, it sure puts us in a whole lot better of a spot than it did yesterday.
Yep.
And I'm bummed that Kenny's gone, but listen, man, he was really good early, serviceable. One of his best things is he played all the time. So God bless him. But 2 firsts and Kenny, so essentially 3 firsts. Man, bring it. Bring it on. Bring it on. I'm now as excited, if not more excited, to watch the defense than I am the offense, which I don't know if I've been able to say since
Long time.
God, I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe 2010 when you started to realize when they played the Jets and shut them out and won.
Even then, I don't think that was anywhere near, especially since a lot of that it felt like it was the secondary, you know? Not that we didn't have, you know, pass rush with Clay and all that, but I don't know. It's just different. I never really felt like they were this elite defense. It was just kind of, especially with all the injuries, like new guys came in and it was scary. Like, I don't even know who this freaking guy is. Some undrafted free agent. This guy's going to suck. And then he starts getting interceptions and it was like, well, that's either lucky or awesome. I'm not really sure. I don't think you can compare that, especially since by 2011, even if by then you're like, hey, we have a good defense. Nope. 2011, we sucked on defense.
That we had a defense that could actually do something. man, just awesome. Let's all have some fun. I'm going to be calling your ass a ton this year. I can't wait. Can't wait, gang. Let's go.
All right, let's keep her rocking. Drew, what's
Hey,
up?
Ryan, Drew from Green Bay, and I just finished your recent podcast, Emergency one, and yeah, you know, you were talking about everybody's gonna remember where they were in that, and where I was actually at home watching the Brewers game, and it was the bottom of the ninth where the Brewers were down 2 with 2 men on, and Christian Yelich was up to the plate with 2 outs.
Okay.
And someone told me in the chat that the deal went down, and I didn't believe them because I just thought they were trying to distract me away from the Yelich at bat. And so that was pretty crazy timing. But, you know, I was also thinking, imagine if we did some sort of NASCAR package where you put like Rashawn Gary and Bretton Cox on the outsides, and then you have LVN and Parsons on the inside.
Sure.
And like Cox and Gary are actually both like pretty good run defenders, and then you're just unleashing LVN and Parsons on the interior, and obviously Gary and Cox can get some pass rush too, and you know they can kind of contain. And I just think that would be a pretty interesting package. And I know Parsons is a little on the smaller size, but he's got really good strength from what I've seen. So I just think that'd be really interesting. And also I wanted to mention I heard some Daniel Jeremiah and the way, and he talked about the trade, and what he had said is like, this is one of the biggest trades in NFL history. And it's pretty interesting when you think about it in those terms.
Right.
Like, we think this is a big trade. We know it's a big trade. This doesn't happen often. But it's actually one of other people outside of the Packers are seeing this as one of the biggest trades the NFL has ever done.
Well, and that's what I've been kind of talking about, where it's like I'm struggling to understand the magnitude of this. I just am. This is never supposed to happen. First of all, these guys are rare to begin with. Forget like they never get traded. They just rarely exist. And again, I don't want Micah Parsons to get mixed up with a bunch of other guys. I think he is on another level. I mentioned Von Miller before and how I feel like he is one of the more underrated and one of the best ever. You can probably put Khalil Mack in that as well. But there are just so few that come in day one. And in their rookie year, they are arguably the best pass rusher in football. And then they do it again in year 2, and they do it again in year 3, and they do it again in year 4. Even the most elite people that you think of, that's not usually how it goes. And there's, within the first 4 years, maybe it takes until year 2. Maybe it takes until year 3. Or maybe in year 2, there's a little bit of a dip, or year 3, or there's an injury year, or there's something going wrong. What is happening? I got my YouTube stream muted here, but this reminds me of Dusk Till Dawn. You know what I'm talking about? If you know, you know. Anywho, so you take this very small subset of rare human beings that are just like, it's kind of like how, in high school you have those people that are just, they don't belong there, they're too good. And so they, of course, go to college to become superstars. And a lot of those guys, they're too good to even be there. And then you get to the pros, and that's kind of where you meet people on your level. Some people, they get to the pros and they need another level because these people are not good enough. That's this tier. And then you say, how many of these guys actually ever get traded? Virtually never. So yes, this is absolutely one of the biggest trades in the NFL. And part of understanding that is understanding how just shockingly good this guy is.
And that's insane. And so, and another thing is why I think people are getting a little, so emotionally positive about this is that it felt like all the deals that were to be had were done. This didn't feel like it was really possible for a long time. We were already all the other pass rushers, all got locked up, and it just felt like, okay, everything that was done for the offseason was done. And then, bam, this happened, and it was a great value, and, like, wow, the timing of it. So anyways, I just want to add that. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. This is it's hard to comprehend. There is going to have to be a level of like toning it down. It's weird because I'm trying to ramp it up because I'm not understanding how great he is. There's going to have to be a period of ramping it back down because in my mind, when it's like, okay, I think I understand how great he is, there's this feeling of like he should have a sack every second or third play. You understand 14 sacks is less than a sack a game, right? So we gotta kind of temper at least a little bit here. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and we got Steve in Alaska.
Hey, Ryan, Steve up in Alaska. Yeah, calling in on the glorious day where at least the day after we found out that we got Micah Parsons. Didn't think that was going to happen. Did not think that was going to happen at all. It's not going to go into a big deal about that because I'm sure there's been a bazillion phone calls before I called in. But I do want to say this to you. I think you're going to have to pick up your podcasting game because now we're going to have Micah Parsons podcast talking about the Packers all the time. You're going to have to put your eight.
I'm going to be honest with you, Steve. I'm not even going to try, okay? There's sometimes you just have to concede that you're just not going to be able to compete, and that's fine. This just is what it is, and that's going to be that.
Game out there all the time because you're going to start snitching to listeners. It's going to be an interesting ride, man. Can't wait to see how it goes. All right, y'all take it easy. Go Pack.
That's going to be exciting. I mean, we had the Aaron Rodgers thing. I know people got annoyed by it, but I love the access to it. I love that, just as a fan, especially, in my position and even your guys' position with, man, these guys are getting pretty, I feel like I should turn off my stream and I'm watching this by myself. Just freaking calm down a little bit, all right? Even where I'm at, where you're at, where you can't seem to get enough, and there's never enough information. I'm doing my best to parse together whatever information I have, but you don't get any. We go through these, we're going to do it tomorrow, where they have the press conferences, but they don't say anything in the press conferences, not really. Everything's a big secret, and everything's coaching speak and all that stuff. And you get that, and you start to get some serious insights into the relationships and the players and all these different things. And yeah, it's going to be one-sided, and I'm sure there's going to be things said where it's like, oh, he said this, and it's going to be a big scam, whatever. I'm not saying it's great, but I'm certainly being consistent because I always loved the Rodgers access. I said I was sad when he left for that reason. It was the drama of all of it. It was sad. It made my podcast harder. I don't know. I mean, any serious scandals that happened on his podcast, I am completely unaware of. This is the first I'm hearing of it, that it was some kind of a big serious thing. Couldn't have been that big of a thing because I know nothing about it. But I'm pumped about it. I just looked into it. I was, is he going to move it? Because he's got a whole studio set up with an audience and everything. I never really watched it. I saw a clip with Jordan Love on it and stuff. Obviously, we talked about it then. But I never really watched. But you go back and look at it. Yeah, he's got a big studio. There's a big stage. There's people in the stands. I mean, what's the plan for moving that to Green Bay? I'm guessing he's not going to give up his show, but he's also going to need time to set up a studio. And I don't even know, does he do it during the season? I think he does. They said it was a weekly podcast. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it until I'm not.
Ryan, what's up, man? Kyle from Madison. How are you?
Good.
Well, I mean, I know how you are.
Yeah.
You're great. Me too. So, the juicy man drama, as your wife says, is really good this week, isn't it? The coping and seething continues.
Yep.
I'm learning so much about Micah Parsons. You want to know what I learned? The Cowboys fans are educating me. I learned that this makes the Cowboys better, and they're doing it to get Archie Manning.
Right.
Okay, dude.
That's the big brain move.
Sure you are.
By the way, can I just say, not that you can rule out Arch Manning, because he might end up being a great player or something. I did a mock draft and posted it, and Arch Manning wasn't the first player taken. He wasn't the first quarterback taken, and I immediately got scolded for that. Arch Manning looked like dog crap in his first outing. So, just saying.
What a bunch of cope. Are you kidding me? I also learned that it's been for him anyway. Okay. Well, that might be true.
It is funny also, you broke up, so I didn't hear that, so I'll go back to your last point. It is funny also that the biggest, Cowboys won this trade argument is admitting that they're going to be dog crap now that they don't have him. So you're admitting that Micah is that good and Kenny is not good, and therefore we're not going to win any games, and we're going to get the number one pick, and we're going to get the best quarterback, and then we're going to be good. Wow. Burn. You got me.
Look at why they can't afford him, shouldn't we? Because we talked about this. We've talked about this every time we sign one of our guys. We talked about this when Zach Tom got signed this year. We talked about how this is how you do it early.
Yep.
You don't screw around.
Yep.
And if it's top of market, so be it. It's not going to be top of market for,
Right.
Market's going to be reset in 15 seconds.
Well, and the funny thing, you remember Pat Mahomes' deal? When you look at it and how much Micah jumped up, 47's a big jump. Do you remember when Mahomes got 50? And that was back when quarterbacks were still getting 30. It was something insane. And you're thinking, what are you doing? Within 3 years, he's underpaid. When you look at how much money he's getting, and it's he needs to get a bump up because it was a 10-year deal, and everybody else starts making more money, and by that point he had no money left, and he wasn't. It's just, again, like I said before, as long as he continues playing at a high level, nobody is going to care. And Bears fans can kick and scream and talk, well, you're going to lose all these players, which is funny that they're really worried about us losing all these players, considering, according to them, we don't have any good players. So what does it matter? Who are we going to lose? Tell me which players we're going to lose that are going to make some kind of a significant difference, because I'd love to hear you just admit all the great players that we have that apparently we're going to lose, which, by the way, the answer to that is 0. We will lose 0 players because of Micah Parsons. Anybody that we want to keep, we will keep. It's that simple.
This is what happened with Jordan Love and Zach Tom. And we talked about how Jerry does it ass backwards.
Yes.
He screws himself thinking he knows everything, and then guess what? He ends up paying way more than he needs to pay
because he's so smart
in crisis contract negotiations. He did it.
It's he doesn't understand that speed is a value here. For him, it's all about the deal, and he's going to do the whole Donald Trump art of the deal thing. I'm not afraid to get up and walk away from the table and do all that stuff, and I'll just cut you off, and he wants to be the big man. He's the man in control. I'm going to let you know I'm the man with the power. The person you're negotiating with doesn't care if you play that game, because every time you walk away from the table, I just made an extra $1 million. Okay? So keep walking away from the table, stupid.
With Prescott, he did it. With Lamb, he's done it before. So yeah, they probably couldn't afford him. Whose fault is that, Cowboys fans?
Right.
Could
have signed him last year.
I mean, give me a break. And then, this is a reset. We're gonna tank for Manning. Oh, dude,
congrats.
Get out of here. What are you okay? That's why.
By the way, quarterback is not your problem. Dak Prescott looked very good last year. 2 years ago, he was MVP Dak. This year, if he just continues doing what he did this past week, he's going to be on track for that potentially again. We're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but Dak is not your problem. Dak is one of the few things that seems to be working for this team. So you're going to replace the only working part of your car, and that's going to fix everything? Great. Well done. Yeah, go get CD Drops a lot over there, a new quarterback. See how that works out.
You just paid $60+ million to Dak Prescott, and how much to CD Lamb so that you can suck? Nah.
And replace him, apparently.
It's ridiculous. And then I keep hearing about how they just totally won this trade, and I'm thinking to myself, well, look,
nobody thinks
time
that.
will tell, but
0 people believe that. That's so stupid. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. That's just a lie.
I'm just busting out the old Jimmy Johnson. Remember him? Apparently he was a Cowboy coach. His little value chart here. If we don't even take into account the fact that most GMs view subsequent years as 1 round less.
Sure.
And I'm just kind of ballparking this at 660 points, around 28th pick. You add those together, you're up to what? 8th, 7th pick in that draft? Okay. If you do view them as subsequent rounds being one round lower, you end up with about a total of around number 50 of the next year's draft, 50th overall. So if we're going to use the value chart, the Packers crushed them.
Right.
Crushed them. So, man, I don't know. As he disappears during playoff games. So you can speak to that, but a lot of cope going on, man.
So I haven't addressed that. I forgot until you just reminded me right now. The whole disappears during... Talk to me about TJ Watt. Same exact thing. You know why? Because it's a very small sample size. It's a small sample size. He's played in 3 playoff games or something. I'm sorry, but that is just like everything else. As you've been saying, it's cope. They're trying as hard as they can to find any angle to show that it doesn't work. You think they wouldn't take Micah Parsons in the playoffs? Free. If we miss the playoffs, I'll let you rent Micah Parsons. Will you take him? Or is that just taking snaps away from guys that are better? You know you would take him. Everybody would take him, and he would be out there on 1st and 10, the very first snap, and they'd barely ever take him off the field. They're all lying, stupid, fat idiots. That's all they are.
Whoa, Baghdadi. Hey, calling in because I can't resist making another deposit in the Micah Parsons
Do it.
Comment bank. I was just thinking about what fun it would be to be in the Packers' position, I guess, namely Gutekunst's position now. I mean, losing 2 first-round picks, yeah, that's suboptimal.
That sucks, yeah.
But if you think about it, it's kind of... When you have the kind of team the Packers have now and probably will for at least a couple of years, it's almost like losing a first-round pick would be comparable to Mike Tyson being worried about, I don't know, will my opponent be immune to my punches? No matter how hard I hit him, is it going to be, is he going to just not even flinch? He's going to, shake it off. It's not going to be effective. Mike didn't walk into the ring worrying about that. Yeah, he had to work on his footwork, figure out how to get those punches in to be effective. Maybe work on his stamina and make sure he could pound like that through all rounds. But, I mean, Packers are in such a bird's eye view position. Just wonderful. And now, Gutekunst can kind of sit back and look at the field of draftees and say, okay, what's available in the second round? Just kind of play with it. Maybe looking at a quarterback, somebody to sit under Love or something. I mean, or at least a better backup, somebody who can step in if they need to. I mean, second round, Brett Favre got picked up in the second round. Drew Brees got picked up in the second round. Third round, Joe Montana and Russell Wilson got picked up, and that's third round.
Yep.
Or maybe you look for another Derrick Henry. He was a second round guy. Or a Devontae, or a Strahan. It's going to be really interesting. Pressure's kind of off. It's going to be fun, man. All right, go Pack, go.
Yeah, and again, unlike a lot of these trades, this is not a short-term, short window kind of a thing. This is not a, boy, oh boy, Rodgers has only got 2-3 years left. We got to make a big move. We have the youngest team in the league, and we went out to get a guy that's also young that can grow with this team. So, with Jordan and with Golden and with all these guys is Micah. This is not a 1 to 2 year thing. This is just another young guy. So that's where the draft pick comparison even comes in perfectly. I mean, he would be an old draft pick for sure, but the whole what if this draft pick could be anything? It could even be this amazing player here. Yeah, but the guy's old, right? Even 28, 29, depending on the position. So yes, 2 first-round picks is not fun, but we're not giving up the future necessarily. The only real difference here is you got one guy that's going to be a young player that's going to grow with this team for the foreseeable future compared to 2 guys. Are you willing to trade 2 young players to grow up with this team for 1 Micah Parsons? I would hope so. And we offloaded Kenny, who was going to be gone by next year anyways.
What's up, Ryan? Aaron from Eau Claire. Man, we got Micah Parsons a couple days ago. That was freaking incredible. Up until that point, I was like, there is absolutely no way this is going to happen. I didn't even think there was a small chance.
Right.
And then it happened, and everyone's talking about how basically an unbelievable trade for Goody, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it really just makes me think that the Packers are just more patient, more
Yes.
strategic, and more long-term in their thinking
Right.
than almost any other franchise.
Right. They don't panic. And I've been saying this about Goody since day one. You look at these negotiations, and I'm like, I would have panicked 100 times. He doesn't flinch. And they do that from a year-to-year standpoint. You get into an entire year, the Packers will look at a year and go, not a good year. Not a lot of good this, not a lot of good that. Oh, well, on to next year. We'll do what we can with what we got. We're not going to panic. Other teams panic, and they go out and get guys that are not very good, but it's like, I got to do something. I have to do something. And fans, of course, panic. You have to be able to have a long-term vision. Most fans don't have a long-term vision. Most teams don't have a long-term vision. They can't do it. Don't risk next year by going out and getting old, washed-up, overpriced players this year because you're panicking. Oh, well, is the answer. It just is what it is.
Which I think is just, they've stumbled upon sort of a long-term formula for success, which I just think is just worth celebrating because, the Seahawks had their little window, and look where they are. The Patriots had a big time, dynasty, and now look where they are. I guess San Francisco has been pretty good for a long time, so you could say that they've been doing a good job in similar vein. But Eagles have been pretty good for a while too. But it's just crazy. I'm just so grateful as a fan to have that kind of excitement. And man, it is so great to just think about. I feel like I was a little bit more nervous for the season before this. Now I'm just excited. Now I'm just plain old ready to go watch every game. It's been a while since we've had a player on the defense, or honestly, probably on the offense too, that has been this dominant. Maybe Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers together would qualify. But it's been a while since we've had this kind of defense with talent. And I'm just excited to see what Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons can do on the field together.
Yeah, and again, it always comes down to that coin flip of, which way is it going to go? And you do that for each, is Micah going to be, and I feel pretty confident about that. That's a weighted coin right there. As far as Micah being, but, Jordan, what are we getting from Jordan? Matthew Golden, Rashawn, especially now that Micah is here. Is that going to be a big boon? Lucas Van Ness, is it possible he could break out? And, what if we have 3 just dominant pass rushers? Golden, if I didn't say that already, is massive. If he can be that dude, if he can be that guy, that is just a straight-up punch in the face. What an idiot. But I agree, man. I'm excited. I definitely was nervous where you look at it and go, if everything goes right, we could end up being, the top team or a top team, certainly good enough to get into the playoffs, and that's all you really need. Then you just kind of go from there, just be good enough to get into the playoffs, and we'll see how it goes. But, Golden and Parsons have completely changed my perspective on this. If Golden is a legit dominant number 1 wide receiver and Parsons remains maybe the best pass rusher in football, this is no longer like, well, we're the 5th best, but maybe we can put something together long enough in the postseason to pull off a Super Bowl victory. It doesn't feel that way anymore. You start to feel like we are the guy you should be afraid of right now. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
I think the thing people are missing about the Packers roster is we currently have a lot of depth, and a lot of these guys aren't paid. We got assets back from the Devontae Adams trade. We got assets back from the Aaron Rodgers trades. And this is what Rich Hill says about it, okay? What we got back in a net difference from the Aaron Rodgers trade was a plus 158 in the Rich Hill points, right?
Okay.
If you look at the Devontae Adams trade, we got plus 428. Now, taking all the numbers, I just said Kenny's worth a mid-fourth, even with the contract stuff. It's probably less, but I still gave him a fourth-round value. You take all that and you put that in with the 2 firsts, it's 490. So even with the 2 trades, the difference of the trades, we're still positive. Yes, we're going to have a little bit of a talent gap once you get to, 4 years from starting next year on the first-round stuff, but we have a 50-50 hit rate, so of the 2 years, it's not that big of a deal. So I think overall, we won the trade. The amount given up is nowhere near what other people have been projecting, so I'm excited.
Bless you.
That's all I got. Go Pack, go.
No, it's a good point. That's a good point. And it goes along with the whole patience thing. The Packers bide their time. They do the responsible thing. They do the boring thing. They do the thing that nobody wants to do. They'll trade away players. They get rid of the old players. They do this and that. But the point is, when these things happen, this is where the Packers come in big time because it just fits their philosophy. And other teams are less adept at doing it because they've been panicking the whole time. They don't have the cap space. They don't have they don't have any draft picks to give away because they already gave away all their draft picks. They've been selling, and then when they buy big. And again, look at free agency. They're not as big in free agency as other teams because they're more selective, they're more picky. But when they get guys, it's Josh Jacobs, it's Xavier McKinney, it's Peak Zadarius, it's Adrian Amos. It's guys that come in and are top 5, top 10 players at a reasonable price a lot of times, but certainly they're at a young age still playing at a high level. And I feel like every year we have to go through this bull crap every single time. It's like the Packers don't do anything. The Packers don't do it. Yes, they do something. They don't do as many things, but they do more better things and less stupid things. And I'm sorry that bothers you. Again, angry Packer fans, there are a lot of teams that do exactly what you want them to do. The Chicago Bears are one of the teams that run their organization the way that you want the Packers to run their organization. The Jets run their organization like you want this team to run their organization. The Cleveland Browns. These guys do exactly the kind of stuff that you want all the time. They overpay for older guys that have big names and get everybody excited in the offseason because they're like, ooh, I know that name. He's done a lot of great things, and we got him for a great price. And then Packer fans, well, you wouldn't give up a fourth for that guy? He's an elite talent. I had him on my fantasy team 3 years ago, and he won me my league. They trade for Aaron Rodgers. He's a back-to-back MVP Hall of Famer. Right, guys? That's how you run a team. You run it like your Madden team. You want somebody, you just go get them. You just find a hole in your roster, and then you find somebody else that has like a certain Madden grade that's higher than the Madden grade you have, and you just go get them, and then you replace them, and then everything's perfect, and it's fine. It's so easy to do. It's so stupid. Kyle, what's up?
Ryan, what's up? Kyle from Madison.
Howdy.
So as the rest of the NFL, I guess, works its way through the stages of acceptance, of grief, I should say, I believe they're kind of right in between denial and bargaining right now. We haven't reached any kind of acceptance state yet that I can tell. So I just wanted to give you my update on the copium tracking situation here as of Sunday. Now, you will no doubt have touched on some of this probably before this airs, but I'll just go ahead and let you know anyway, because I feel like the internet, it's like political talking points that come out of freaking Dallas right now. And like they get circulated each day, and then you see them hit the comment sections of social media like a wave.
Right.
And get parroted back.
Right.
So in today's copium tracker, let's look at the most recent talking points, which is, wait for it, Dallas got better and Green Bay got worse. Why? Because Kenny Clark is the ultimate run stuffer in history and Micah Parsons isn't.
Yep.
Okay, again, I hate that I have to like go against Kenny Clark because I love Kenny Clark. I love what he brought to the team. I love it. But he's going on 30, had his worst year of his career, and is coming off surgery and wasn't going to be on this team next year. Okay? That's first of all. Second, I don't have a PFF subscription, but from what I can see online for people just posting, is that the run-stopping grade for Kenny Clark last year was a 56. For Micah Parsons, it was a 67.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting. That would seem to be the opposite of what I'm being told.
Yeah.
If we look, and I know this isn't a person-for-person.
And right, just to be clear, one guy is working on the inside. He's working against double teams, against the run and all that kind of stuff, although Micah probably is too. And one guy's working off tight ends and, tackles occasionally and that kind of thing and pulling guards. So, apples to apples, could Micah do what Kenny, whatever? But the idea that Kenny is elite and Micah is a liability is really odd. It's really odd because Kenny is not very good. He has not been helping very much. He's been helping insofar as keeping other guys off the field that are worse than he is, but he's not exactly an asset in and of himself. And Micah, as far as I can tell, is average. And the only real liability, I think, is that he spends a lot of time trying to get to the quarterback, and sometimes he misses a guy coming at him. But if he's actually playing the run, I have a feeling he's probably slightly better at it than average. But yeah, let's keep going with this freaking copium nonsense.
Player. But let's just look at the stat difference between Parsons and Clark, right?
Sure.
He had 4 less games than Clark, yet 6 more total tackles, 11 more sacks, 18 more quarterback hits, 2 more forced fumbles, 10 more solo tackles, 11 more sacks. Did I say that? So I don't know what the hell we're talking about here. I just think it's hilarious that this is the talking point. So I don't know what it'll be tomorrow. It'll be something different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the future holds. I've said that over and over. But if Micah Parsons stays healthy, that defense, it's going to come down to health. It always comes down to health, and it's going to come down to how well does Jordan Love play. But my God, does this take the pressure off Love to have to cape up every freaking Sunday? So I'll continue to track the copium as it comes out, as I'm sure you will. And, oh my goodness. Looking forward to the season. Talk to you later.
Yeah, and you could also look at stops, right? Those tackles that are a negative play for the offense. Rashawn Gary had 30. Micah Parsons had 28. Kenny Clark had 19. Right? So there's that. Run defense stats are not quite as illuminating as pass rush stats. Maybe not as telling, but again, that's where you could have the grades. Which the funny thing about it is, people are like, stop using PFF, watch the tape. It's like, that's what the grades are. They're people that watch the tape and then grade it and then tell you. So you want me to go do it now? I pay them to do it. Why do I have to do it? But I got to give all right, no podcast tomorrow, because I have to sit around and watch Kenny Clark and Micah Parsons in every single snap, and I have to come up with my own arbitrary grading system that I made up off the top of my head, and then chart every single one of them, and then come back and give you my conclusion. For what reason, I don't know, but that's what has to happen. No, dude, it's right here. You could say PFF is not perfect, but you know what else is not perfect? All these talking heads on the television that don't have any idea what they're talking about ever, pretending that they actually watched every single snap of every single game when they did not. And even if they did, they watched it as a fan sitting around eating a freaking hot dog. Very few of these guys are getting in there and actually grading anything. Even the ones that watch the film, they watch selective things. They grab a couple clips, they put it together, and they say, oh, watch this guy. Watch him do this. Watch him hook around here. That's different than charting every single snap of every single play with a grading system that I should give a crap about, by the way. Why do I have to use somebody else's grading system? Isn't that just going to be equally as flawed and stupid? Don't you think, Kyle?
Oh, hey, real quick, I totally forgot the other main copium talking point that I've been running into the last 48 hours that is absolutely worth talking about, and that is, well, Micah Parsons is okay, but I didn't see the Cowboys winning any Super Bowls while he was on the team. Therefore,
that was
Parsons
should have been a penalty.
Bad. What?
That's why Myles Garrett is also trash, right? Myles Garrett sucks because the Cleveland Browns don't win anything. That makes perfect sense. By the way, this is why Herbert is seen as a bad quarterback, because people on television who supposedly know things are so stupid as to believe that that's actually a good point to make.
Makes perfect sense if you're a moron.
Right.
But I keep seeing it, thousands of comments. This is a point. I don't know if people believe it when they say, I hope they do.
Well, it's the same thing with Chicago and Khalil Mack. Well, how did that work out? What do you mean? It worked out great. What are you talking about? What do you mean? I don't know what planet you're living on.
No, but it would seem as if people are saying this and they actually believe that statement is true.
Sure.
Or means anything. So, yeah, there's a little red meat for you as well.
No, it is stupid. I don't know what else to say to that. I mean, it's like you said, do they actually believe? I have no idea if they actually believe it. Some of these people really do believe it, and it seems shocking, but they do. Others, I don't know. I think some people just, like you said, it's like political talking points. I just want my side to be right, and as soon as I see anyone say anything, I'm going to grab it and run with it. Oh, yeah, well, did you stop and read that and comprehend that before you typed it? No, just went ahead and did it.
Hey, Ryan, Beer Cheese Benny here.
What's up?
Happy Labor Day, everybody. I'm waking up here. I'm going to work because I got to work on Labor Day. Thankfully, I only got to work a couple hours, working on a golf course. So we just got to get a few things done, and then I get to go home. And I get holiday pay, so basically get paid 8 hours. Well, actually, no, I'm salaried now, bro. I didn't tell you all that, but I got my certification done. I'm salaried now, so they might I think they'll still factor it into my pay. So basically, they'll give me 8 extra.
There you go.
Hours, quote unquote, of pay. So I guess whatever the equal amount of what my hourly pay would be, plus whatever I work.
Is that why you called it today, Beer Cheese? I'm sorry. Please continue.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyways, dude, I'm just still so hype about the Packers, man. So cool, dude, to have Micah Parsons, man. It's just a game changer. But now, I was thinking about something, man. We still have, $14 million in cap space? And I was thinking about, dude, we should just go sign Christian Wilkins, man, for up the middle, dude. 1-year deal, strengthen that D-line, and that way, we don't have to worry about the run up the middle and stuff like that. I think that would be great. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it, but
touchdown, Keenan.
Just a nail in the coffin to the NFC North. If we did something like that, I mean, Micah already was. Now all these Lions fans are scared. They're like, oh, yeah, that's stupid stick radio, man. I love bookmarking these people. Oh, I'll pull receipts, boy. He's like, you guys finally admit that you needed one player to beat the Lions. What? Okay. And I got Lions fans telling me, oh, dude, Gibbs is going to frickin' run all over you guys. And frickin' Kirby Joseph is going to he owns love. I'm like, I'm so sure that Kirby Joseph, guy who had one career year last year, is going to beat us, man. So sure of it, man. Cannot wait, dude. Oh, man, dude, the things I am going to say. We got to beat the Lions, man. And I believe we can do it, man. This offense cannot start off slow like we always do week 1. We got to come out hot, bro. Yeah, dude, I freaking love this team, man. Go Pack, go.
The Wilkins thing, I haven't touched on that yet. It's very weird. Wilkins is a very good player. I thought he was overpaid when he went to the Raiders. I was shocked that they paid him that much. And he is pushing 30, which is surprising. When did he? It's 2019, I guess. Time flies. But he is one of the true premier run defenders in the NFL. His run defense grades since getting into the NFL, 66, 74, 81, 81, 72, and then in 2024 with the Raiders, it was an 80. Pass rush, it's not the best, although he did manage 10 sacks in 2023 and roughly 10% pressure rate, but that's kind of an outlier. In fact, 5 was his previous highest. But again, to your point, you don't need him for that. You're getting him to be a run defender. There's obviously something very wrong for him to not be signed. Now, what we know is that he's got a foot injury, a Jones fracture or something to that, and he was essentially terminated, supposedly, and there's certainly theories out there, supposedly because of the way he handled his treatment or mishandled it. I don't know if the team wanted him to do one thing and he decided he wanted to do another or something, but they said there was no clear path or plan for future return to play. Now, in order to release him, it would have to be some kind of negligence, presumably on Christian Wilkins' part. I don't think you can just say, he's hurt, and I don't think he's coming back, so screw this guy, we're not paying him any more money, and we're terminating his, voiding $35 million in guarantees. You can't do that unless Wilkins supposedly did something wrong, but I don't think there's any more information on that. The other is a supposed locker room incident where during a team meeting, he kissed another teammate on the head. Now, that sounds not super significant, but it's one of those things, like, it was mentioned and talked about in a way that maybe, like, what part of the head, dude? Was it, like, the back of his neck? Was it his face? Was it the lip part of the head? Like, what are we talking about here? Something weird about this. Apparently, the player that was kissed ran to HR, which, if I may be not politically correct for a minute, I don't know what's gayer, kissing another dude or running to HR about it. Again, that would come back to what part of the head did he kiss to determine that. But running to HR because he did something to me, that's not good. Apparently, that did play a role in his release. I don't think the team ever publicly acknowledged that, but a lot of people have been saying that absolutely is the case. And maybe even the injury thing was, I don't know, partially made up. My whole thing was I think they overpaid him anyways. So they're probably looking for a way to get out. I don't know. The point is that has nothing to do with why somebody else wouldn't sign him. That contract is already in the garbage. Now, he did file a complaint with the NFLPA. That is not going to be resolved until probably next year. I don't think that would hold up anything, but maybe the fact that he's going after a team and there's a dispute is keeping other teams away. I don't know, dude. All I can tell you is if there's anything else to this aside from his foot is jacked up and he's 30 and he can't play anymore, we should sign him. And maybe just, make it a point of emphasis, put it in his contract or something. You're not allowed to kiss any of the dudes in the locker room, okay? Just don't touch him, unless we're outside practicing or something. Just in general, personal space is something that we care a lot about here in Green Bay. Just thought you should know. Personal bubble, cone of silence, whatever. There's a hold that didn't get called. But, look, the Packers are not stupid. They're fully aware of his capabilities on the field. Oh, my Lord, Mahomes. Please tell me he was past the line of scrimmage. That is so stupid. I'm tired of him doing magical things. Screw that guy and his wizardry. Anyways, the team is not stupid. The fact that they haven't signed him and nobody has signed him, there's something going on. Probably the foot. The locker room complaints as well as legal issues against other teams may be contributing to that a little bit, but I would borderline be surprised if this dude isn't on a team relatively soon. And if he's not, his foot must just be jacked up and he just can't play or something. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. We still got 16 calls. I think we did some serious damage today, got through quite a few calls. Appreciate all you guys. We'll try to get through the rest of them tomorrow so we don't have to skip any for after the game. But have a good rest of your night. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.